Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Championship Predictions Game Week 34. We've done 34 of these. That is mental, and we're still not getting many more views than we did right at the start. But it's great to have everyone. We have some great people in the stream, including my mate Ollie. How you doing, mate?
Not bad, thank you very much, Nick. Not too bad at all. You know, it's been one of them weeks, so I'm glad it's a Thursday night, and I'm glad to be back here doing predictions. How are you doing, Nick?
Yeah, very good, thank you. And Thursdays are one of my favorite days because it is my last day working in the office. So Friday working from home, Monday working from home. So I have a lovely 4 days at home. Anyway, enough about work. Let's talk about football because that's all we ever want to talk about is football, except for when your team goes and loses 2 games on the spin. But we will get there very, very soon. However, Ole, this was a massive, massive game week because, first of all, we drew 11 all. And secondly, we both got our banker absolutely right, which I've never done before. You've done a few times, and we have done it together, which is absolutely fantastic.
A double banker. You can't get better than a double banker, but I think this might be the first time we've drawn, you know. That's not something that happens very often. And your banker is hell of a shout. So, yeah, we can't complain. I do have to say, though, you know, before we get too far in, I've seen the comments rolling in. I've seen this one in particular from Jimmy, and he is exactly right. That choice of thumbnail definitely needs investigating.
Yeah, the thing is, what I do, I try to stay as unbiased as possible. And I quite often put the best player from the game week in the thumbnail. I did Cameron Archer last week and no one batted an eyelid.
I didn't realise, otherwise I would have batted an eyelid. But then people didn't want to be mad at me when I were on my own. That's fair. They knew I'd not done the graphics. They knew it weren't me to blame.
I'm not sure they knew that for definite, but you did a fantastic job nevertheless. I was watching the video and I really enjoyed it. And I loved how you were talking about yours and you're like, I can see where Nick's gone with this one. And next one, I can see where Nick's gone with this one. You sat on the fence and you had a splintery bottom, I think.
But getting a splintery bottom was definitely the right decision because sitting on the fence, we drew. So we both got spot on an agreement there. So maybe I was right to sit on the fence because 11-11, cracking score. But we were defeated. We were defeated once again by our viewers. I know we all expect that now. The viewers beat us most weeks. But this week we got beaten by 2 in particular. So I'm going to shout out Peter Heppel. Peter had a fantastic week.
Mate, Peter Heppel does it every week. Every week.
Honestly, Mr. Consistency, Peter Heppel. Absolutely Mr. Consistency. He's cracking. But he actually wasn't our winner. He was second place this week to Wolfgang Bailey, particular favourite of mine. Always has a good comment, always great in chat. And this week, he took the opportunity not just to get massive 15 points on his own, but to call out everybody else in the chat. He said, nobody's going to bank a Cardiff and nobody at all will bank a Huddersfield. Well, a couple of people did bank a Cardiff, including Charlie Brown. Keith banked Huddersfield, but did somebody else bank a Huddersfield?
That was me.
A controversial decision, but Wolfgang was calling you out for it.
No, and that's fair enough. Fair enough. I've also gone for a good Huddersfield performance this week too. So we'll get onto that. If you already know who Huddersfield's playing, you will already know that that's a little bit controversial. But yeah, let's see how it goes. I'll quickly pop up on screen the predictions table. The viewers, again, absolutely running away with it. Soon they will be 100 points in front of us. And you're kind of running away with it too, mate. You are 21
They're already more than 100 points in front of you, Nick.
All right. Calm down. God, do you know what you do? You give him a little bit of a platform and then he throws it back in your face. How dare you, beastly Ollie?
I'm the worst. I've always admitted to being the worst. And I will continue to be the worst because it just suits me.
No, I'm a big fan. Anyway, let's get into this. Let's bring up on screen right now Coventry versus Sunderland. And you know what? Coventry have had some fantastic results recently. So that is the reason why I've gone for a cheeky Coventry win, because it's not often that I go against Sunderland.
It's not. No, you've been a big Sunderland fan this year. But yeah, you are right. I was wondering myself, Have Coventry turned the corner? I think they're unbeaten in 3. They've won 3 of the last 5, 2 wins back to back. They came back from the World Cup absolutely stinking, and yet all of a sudden seem to be putting something together, and they will be looking at the playoffs again and thinking, maybe we've got that. Maybe we are the ones who are going to really come forward and take that spot. Sunderland, though, are the ones who are closer to that spot. Obviously, they're a few points now ahead of Coventry, but they had a stinker midweek. I mean, losing at Rotherham. I understand Rotherham are a good side at home, but they'll have really been looking at as a game to get 3 points. And so to lose that game, they'll be feeling a little bit sorry for themselves. I think they're still missing Stewart. Such a huge loss. Such a fantastic player. Gelhart's all right. I think he scored his first goal midweek, so they'll hope that that really gets him going. But yeah, he's just no Ross Stewart. And so it's hard to predict this game. I think Coventry are good enough, but I think Sunderland have just got some grit about them. And I think this will be a draw. They'll not want 2 bad results on a row.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Now, let's move on to Birmingham City versus Luton Town. And you know what? I had a feeling in my bones, in my waters, you may say.
In your jellies.
In my jellies that Birmingham are just going to nick a draw in this game. I can see an early Luton goal, and I can see Birmingham City getting a last-minute goal and making it 1-1. I hope that I'm clipping that and it happens exactly how I've just said it. But you think that Luton are going to win this game, which I understand why.
Yeah, I don't fancy Birmingham. Obviously, if you were picking one team in the league at the minute that's the crisis club, it is Birmingham. You know, we expected it pre-season. They actually outperformed all of our expectations. They were a much better team than we thought they were going to be. And it actually felt as though they'd got some consistency about them. But obviously, we've had the announcements in the last few days, over the last week or so, about the sort of sanctions potentially coming against them, you know, charges against their owners. It's once again up in the air about what their ownership structure actually looks like, and that just sucks the life out of a club. You know, they're not going to be feeling it. Their fans at home will be nervous, they'll be scared, and there's 2 ways that goes. It either goes really positive and they inspire them to a result because it's a backs against the wall, us against everybody kind of attitude. But this has happened a lot to Birmingham, and there's only so many times you can create that backs to the wall attitude. Everybody comes together, and I just don't feel as though their fans are quite in that space right now. I think they want rid of the ownership, and I think that they are probably just in a mode of disengagement rather than one of fight, of battle, and that doesn't sit well. They've lost 3 games in a row. You know, they've kept a solid gap to the relegation zone when they put 2 wins together a few weeks back, but I still see them potentially getting dragged in. I think they're going to be part of the battle. I think they'll probably stay up, but it's not easy. Luton, no winning 3, possibly a bit of a wobble in terms of their playoff form, but I think they'll win this. They've had a fantastic season. They're a good side, and I think they'll win this game.
They've also won a lot of games by 1 goal as well. Won a lot of away games that I didn't expect them to too. So, yeah, Luton Town, always people expecting them not to do well, and they always seem to do well. So,
yeah,
it's
so
good
that
to
kind
see.
of thing.
They're a good club. They're a well-run club. So, I am a fan of Luton Town. What else I'm a fan of, Ollie? A battle of the cities.
Battle of the cities.
And do you know what? I'm calling you out right here, right now, because the only reason why you've gone for a Bristol City win is because you never, ever, ever call them to win. Am I right?
Well, you see, there's something in that, Nick, but there's something else as well. So, after 469 days, I don't know how many games it was, but 469 days, Bristol City got a penalty. They got a penalty. They got a point. It's fantastic. Bristol City are in the mode at the minute where they just want to break some of their really bad runs. And I thought, you know what? After not getting a penalty, what's the worst run? What's the worst thing that's happened to Bristol City? And it is, of course, me not predicting them a win for 4 months. And so I'm going to break that curse as well. I think it's only fair to them. I think it's nice to get all those curses off their back, and they'll be feeling confident once again. They're unbeaten in 11 as well. They're on a really, really good run. You know, Hull had a fantastic away form at one point, but since they lost at United, they've lost 2 of their last 3 away games, I think now, lost some of their momentum, and the reverse game was 2-1 to Hull. So this one, a bit of revenge, 2-1 to Bristol City.
Fair enough. I've gone for a 1-1. Let's move on. And here it is. I kind of baited people. I think that Burnley are going to win this game, but I think it's going to be a lot more tougher than a lot of people think. Neil Warnock's sides, he's going to get him up for it. He's going to massively get him up for it. He's going to be trying to, no, Put it down. Not finished yet. He's going to be trying to get them up and hoping that kind of like they're going to put the cat amongst the pigeons. And do you know what? Neil Warnock's sides like to play these teams at the top and like to come away with points. But I think they're just going to be inches away from getting a result in this one. And I know what you're going to say right now.
Banker. I'm going to my banker, Nick. I'm going to banker Burnley. I think it's a no-brainer for me this week. What else can you say about Burnley apart from how good are they? Now, I do agree. Huddersfield got that immediate Neil Warnock bounce last weekend. Came from behind, won a really tough game at Birmingham. But I think, Rotherham won midweek. Cardiff have put back-to-back wins together. All of the pressure now is on Huddersfield. They've got to respond because the teams outside the relegation zone are putting the pressure on. And this is an absolute nightmare, a nightmare of a game to have to play in that situation. But it always goes well when I bank a 4-0, doesn't it? So let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, do you know what? I think you're probably right, to be honest. And I'm going for a banker on their next game, which you haven't even agreed with the scoreline. And I'm going for a Norwich win. I think that Norwich are going to get back to winning ways and they're going to comfortably beat Cardiff City in this game. And I've got to say one little thing. Obviously, let's do banker. But also, it's a battle of the flipping cities.
Battle of the cities, Nick. I thought you'd missed it.
No, mate. I got there in the end.
No, definitely. I think you're right. Norwich have shown they can be a really, really good team. They've got some fantastic players as well. Anybody who's not seen the goal, I think it's Marcelino Nunes who scores midweek. It's probably goal of the season. If you've not seen it, go and find a clip of it. It's an absolute cracker. But Norwich have also, despite being a good side, despite having great, great players, they've got the possibility to throw in a stinker as well. Cardiff, if they can make a good start, I think this could be one of those games for Norwich. If Cardiff can hit them early, they're on good form. 2 wins in a row. It's built a cushion to the relegation zone. One more positive result, and they'll be thinking they've broke the back of the work they've got to do to make sure they're a championship team next season. And I think they've got a chance, I do think they've got a chance. It's just about getting the pressure on Norwich, getting them to be a little bit nervy and really taking advantage of the fact that every now and again, they can just be rubbish.
Yeah, Battle of the Birds. Battle of the Birds. You didn't see that. You didn't see it. That's what you're here for.
I should have spotted it, but Joachim was doing my job for me. Battle of the Birds.
Battle of the Birds. Now, Battle of the Lancashire people, maybe?
Yeah,
Preston North End.
People who eat weird pies. I don't know.
Yeah, Battle of them, Red Roses. It's Preston North End versus Wigan Athletic. We don't think there's a lot of goals that's going to be in this game. You obviously put in stock in the fact that Preston aren't great at home, but I think they are going to be better when they are playing a team like Wigan.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I did my dive. I do the same thing I always do. They've won 1 of the last 7. They've only got 14 points at home all season. That's a stinker of a record for Preston, really. But Wigan, what do they look like? They're actually a comfortable mid-table team on their away form. They've got 18 points from their 15 away games, but all of that has to be tempered by the fact that they had a great start. I think they won something like 3 of the first 5, so they've probably got 9 from 10 since then, which is not quite as good as it looks like from that point when you look at the whole season. But maybe they've turned a corner. They're unbeaten in 4. They're drawing too many games to really get themselves away from trouble. And I do think ultimately they'll be one of the teams in the relegation zone at the end. But maybe Maloney can inspire a performance here. And Preston's home form is enough for me to just get against them whenever they're at home.
Yeah, that's the... you're getting lazy now. You're just saying Preston rubbish at home every week. Let's move on to talking about QPR versus Blackburn Rovers. And they were 2 teams last season that were vying for those playoffs with us and both fell like a stone. This season, Blackburn have been there or thereabouts. QPR have just been god-awful. What are you thinking from this game?
Well, do we get it out of the way straight away, Nick? Do we just, cards on the table, say it straight away? I absolutely hate Gareth Ainsworth. Can't stand the man. I want him to fail. I want QPR to go down miserably. I want everything that he touches to fall apart. Now, I quite like QPR as a team. I quite like the club. I quite like the ground. All the fans I've met have been great. But if he could fail here, if he could completely fall apart, that would be fantastic.
The thing is, Ollie, everybody who supports any other club other than Sheffield United thinks the sun shines out of Gareth Ainsworth's leather jacket and really annoying long hair. And you know what? I I don't know. I wanted to make a video on this. I just didn't have enough time. I hope that Gareth Ainsworth just made a massive, massive error when he was younger and he regrets it ever since that. And we'll quickly say to those watching that don't understand what we're talking about right now, Gareth Ainsworth injured and finished the career of one of Sheffield United's really, really bright sparks. Sheffield lad, one of the best players that's come out of our academy at that point, ended his career in one terrible tackle. Never apologised, never went to go and see him. None of that stuff that footballers do. And we've never forgiven him. And you know what? I don't even know if he's been to Bramall Lane since, because I think that I would have known if he had.
Yeah, I can't remember him having come back, and obviously they won't be coming this season, and obviously we'll see what happens for next season. But we've got that out of the way, Nick. We've covered it off, so now let's go into the football analysis. I do think he's going to have an immediate impact. You know, he's a legend at QPR. He's going back there to hopefully create what they're going to see as being a really good atmosphere, a really positive vibe around the club. They did need a change. They were sleepwalking themselves into a relegation battle. So I do think they're going to be a decent side going forwards. I think they will win this game. I think he'll have an immediate impact. Long term, their squad's not built for him. And so I don't know how his style of play will play out at QPR. They're a team of attacking, bright, young talent up front. You know, they're going to rely on flair players. There are people who beat a man, who really get you out of their seat, and that's not his style. So how it works long term, I don't know. In the immediate future, he will stop them from being in a relegation battle, and I think they'll win this game.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you know what? When I was doing this prediction, I knew about obviously Ainsworth becoming the manager. Briefly forgot when I was doing this. I'd have probably put them winning this game, but I've gone for a draw. It's still a positive result with how they've been playing as of late. So yeah, I'll stand by it. Next up, we've got battle of the one club names. We've got Reading versus Blackpool. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws now. I've gone for a 2-1 Reading win. You've gone for a 1-0 Reading win.
Wedding win.
Let us know right now what you think, Ollie. How's this going to go?
Yeah, this one's a weird one. So it seemed as though a lot of the Blackpool fans I've been speaking to seemed to suggest that they thought they were turning a corner. They thought that actually performances under McCarthy were a little bit better and that they were actually starting to show a little bit of something. But then the midweek defeat, I heard described as a game too far, as if playing the Saturday, then coming back at it the Tuesday was just really going to affect him. And this one comes again quite quickly to the weekend. You know, I think that Reading are a good team at home. They're a quintessential good at home, bad away team. And so I think this one probably falls into the same criteria as I said for Preston. I think Reading are good at home. I think Blackpool aren't that good a team, and therefore we'll go for a Reading win. They are 6 unbeaten at home, 4 wins in a row. So I think it just keeps them comfortable, keeps them mid-table, and I think Reading are happy enough with that.
Yeah. I think they're kind of like a Reading in it for
Reading
some parts of the season. But let's move on to talking about the real team, Watford, in it.
Watford.
Now, you, my friend, are never allowed back on the Sheffield United Way channel. You're allowed on this video, just no other Sheffield United videos. Solo United videos, gone.
I've gone, Nick. My head's gone. Head's gone, Nick.
Your head's gone with your hair and your beard hair.
I know, that was it. I said I weren't going to shave until United lost. And then they lost one, and I shaved, and I thought, that's fine. I've shaved it now. They'll start another run. Then they lost again, and Ed's gone. But no, 2 defeats in a row. Look, United have got to try and reset the momentum. They were a lot better in the second half on Saturday against Millwall. And if they can put in that performance and really put the pressure on this Watford defensively, they've definitely got it in them to win this game. Sheffield United are a very good team. They've proven it over the season. And what they've got to do is just really show teams that they can do that again. But this is a really, really hard game. Let's not make any mistake about this. Watford have dropped a lot recently, and we've started, you know, the Watford in it thing is about the fact that they're inconsistent, that they sometimes turn up and sometimes don't. But one of the things that's been a lot about their season is that João Pedro has been out injured. He's not the only one. They had a complete midfield crisis, but João Pedro is now back fit. Their midfield is now back fit. they're going to try and make up for lost time. And they don't want to continue losing ground on the playoffs, never mind where they think they should be in the top 2 of this division. They've had a couple of decent results last couple of weeks. They nearly beat Burnley at Burnley. Now, Burnley haven't lost at Burnley all season, and these very nearly beat them, but for a 95th minute equaliser. They've then gone and beat West Brom. They're a good team, and I think we've got to respect that. And I think right now it's negative, and I hope, really, really hope that I am wrong. But right now, I just think that United's performances had gone a little bit sour. Results have followed, and Watford will really try and take advantage of that. And let's just hope I'm talking nonsense, look like an idiot, and that you can laugh at me this time next week.
I think you've done very, very well at trying to explain yourself. Well, it's up to people in the comments as well whether you've done it well enough. But I think you've done a good job there, mate. I would say I can't see us losing 3-1 at home, but it happened the last game at home. So, yeah, I won't go too much into that. Let's move on to talking about Stoke City versus the team that beat us at the weekend, Millwall Football Club. You love Millwall. You've gone for a Millwall 2-1 win.
Of course, I've backed the team I really support to win, haven't I? What a week they've had, though. Let's be honest, they've beat United. They've then got a draw against Burnley. They're going to be feeling confident, and they'll really think that they can make the playoffs. They'll want to keep their good feeling rolling. Stoke, I said the same thing last week that I'm going to say this week. A comfortable win in midweek. They'll then rest on their laurels at the weekend and probably drop some points. And I think anyone can get caught out against Millwall.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Daniel thinks the same. We've got a 0-0. We've got a 2-0 Millwall. Mostly Millwall. There's literally no Stoke fans seem to be in the comments. I've gone for a draw. Like I say, nobody's gone for a Stoke win. Let's move on because you know what's going to happen. Stoke are going to win this game. After all, championship, innit? Let's move on to West Bromwich Albion versus Middlesbrough. And I hope you're right, Ollie. I am 100% hoping that you're right.
I backed that United were going to lose, but I'm also backing that Middlesbrough are not going to take advantage of that chance. Look, Middlesbrough are a great side. They were brilliant at Bramall Lane. I think that they are very, very good at what they do. They've got some finishers. They've got goals in them. But West Brom now have the wheels come off. No winning 3 since he was linked to that Leeds job. They got a really damaging defeat in their derby. They then lost to Watford. That's really taken them away from the playoffs. So they really need to get themselves moving, get the form teams on. A couple of games where you think, actually, these two, once upon a time, we said would be the 2 teams that both came together. They'd finished 3rd and 4th. They'd chased down the top 2. These were the 2, both of them really pushing it up. And West Brom must be thinking, where did that go? Why are they now so far ahead of us? Where did we drop away? And they'll want to prove themselves. They'll want to prove a point. They're unbeaten in 8 at home. I think they can do this. Last team to beat them at their ground was United. I think that was Corberan's first game. So let's hope that continues. And let's hope West Brom can do us a bit of a favour.
Yeah, let's hope so. I am hoping that it is a West Brom win. I don't want my score to be right on this one. Even if we lose, it'd be nice to see Borough not gain any ground on us. But I'll try and get through this horrible period of fixtures. Anyway, let's move on to talking about Swansea City versus Rotherham United. And do you know what? When I saw Swansea was the last game, I was hoping that it was going to be another battle of the cities. Was not to be, unfortunately. Rotherham's a town. It's a town that's not even on. Shouldn't be. It's not right. Anyway, I've gone for a Swansea City win in this game. Obviously, Rotherham can do anyone at any time. Yeah. But I think this one, Swansea City, they're going to turn up thinking that they're going to win. And I think, they've got a chance of winning, and I think Swansea are going to turn them over.
Yeah, it's hard, this one. I can't really predict Swansea. I'm struggling with them because, look, quite frankly, they aren't very good right now. I go as far as to suggest, we talked about Birmingham. Let's put their off-field issues to one side. And on the pitch, Swansea are arguably a team in the most crisis right now. They lost with an absolute whimper to Stoke midweek. Nobody is backing Stoke in almost any game, and yet they just completely easily beat Swansea as if they weren't there. The game before that, United did the same thing, where basically there was no point in Swansea coming because they just came to get beat. They really need to change what they're doing because it's just not working. They've had their key man, their best player all season, announced that he's leaving in the summer on a free transfer. Everything's just looking wrong at Swansea. Whereas Rotherham got a great win midweek. They've actually started to move themselves away from the relegation battle as much as they can. They're going to be wanting positive results to keep that going. But away from home, they're not the same team they are at the New York. And so I can't really back any team to win. So I'm sitting right on that fence. I'm getting me splintery bum and I'm going 1-1.
Fair enough. I completely understand why you said all that. You're quite good at these predictions, aren't you, Ollie?
Well, I'm better than you. I'm just not as good at the viewers.
Wow, do just no need whatsoever. Anyway, let's leave it there. Thank you everybody for being in the chat as always. Remember, please, if you've put the results in the live chat, make sure you also put them in the comments too, because Ollie, you don't expect him to go through all the video and try and pick all your things. Just be helpful to him and pop them in the comments if you could. And also, before you leave, there's 40 people in the stream. Make sure you like this. I want to see 40 likes on this at least before we leave. Anyway, thank you very much as always, Ollie. Really appreciate you being here. You are the man with the predictions.
Yeah. Enjoy being here. Really enjoyed it. Sorry for laughing all the way through that closing monologue, but I was just laughing at Blades Ramble's splintery bum in the comment.
Yeah,
and I realised that the words had come out of my mouth.
When you were laughing your head off, I could see one comment and I'm like, he's probably laughing at that comment. And I looked at it, I'm like, he's definitely laughing at that. He really is. Anyway, let's leave it there. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here in the live. And those for watching afterwards, we really appreciate it. Make sure you like, make sure you put your predictions in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.